Right, so you've got a couple of energies going on here. One of them, I'll start here first. It's probably the heaviest part. It could be a twin flame, high-level soulmate, karmic, put it where it fits. But they're deeply ashamed, okay? You probably caught on to the fact that their lifestyle is just not what you are interested in, okay? And they're feeling ashamed because they know there's no coming back from it, is the feeling I'm getting. And they're just in their emotions because they can't take it back. I don't know if you found something, or they're explicit about it, thought you would chase them if you found out that they were messing about. You know, sometimes that can create that reaction in people that haven't done, you know, are not healed. Or they're used to that, you know, that's something that's worked in the past for them, and you just walked away. You didn't want to come back. And I think you found out their lifestyle is quite seedy, is the word I'm getting. So, you know, many options, as much as they can get. And they were really hoping, really hoping that you were, whilst you spent some time away, they were hoping you were in this sort of energy of like depressed and just hoping that they give up that lifestyle just for you, only to find out that you don't want them back because of that lifestyle. Sort of like you can't trust them, and you don't want them because of that lifestyle. Not that you're sort of judging in a way like, oh, that's just so beneath me. It's just, it's not the vibration you're at. It sort of feels, I just get the feeling you just could never trust them. And I think you see this as part of who they are. And I think they thought it made them look good, or would make you jealous and make you like chase after them, is a feeling I'm getting. But anyway, it's backfired on them hugely, okay, like massively, because they actually do have love for you. There's 2 marriage cards out here. And now they're experiencing panic attacks. I don't know if they got a reading or they're actually quite intuitive themselves. And they just know whatever you've seen or whatever they showed you, or, you know, whether you found out yourself or not, they know you will never trust them. You wouldn't. And I'm also getting, okay, I'm also getting that they're into the material world. This is what they chose, the world. Okay, they chose money, flesh, status. This is the stuff that got them going, and they've probably gone so far into that sort of worldly pit. They just imagined that you would be so sort of like drawn in by that. Like, I suspect this person has had people around them that just let them get away with everything, for whatever it doesn't have to be status, it doesn't have to be money. Maybe it's lots of confidence, you know, like something like that. But they're just gutted, and I'm really brought to ashamed, and I think the shame is causing the panic attacks. Maybe you're quite intuitive yourself, so you've actually had some downloads about things that they wouldn't even want you to know. And yeah, that they're really struggling. They're shocked, they're ashamed, and I'm having a feeling like they've never had panic attacks before. It's only now they realize. I think they were genuinely sure, whilst you took this time away, you were like tearing your hair out. But I don't know if it's because they're intuitive or they got a reading, but they found out you're doing this. You're in self-love, you're in the moment, you're illuminated to what you want and what you don't want, and you certainly don't want this. You know, you're very clear. Yes, you might have love for them, but you're happy to find romance elsewhere if you've not already. In fact, that's what you're heading towards. You're not looking back hoping that this person, it will even change their ways, because you still, the trust has been broken. There's, you know, unless you like had an ankle monitor around their, sorry, monitor around their ankle, which you don't want to get into sort of a dynamic like that just because you don't trust them. You know, that would be the only way, and you just don't want to live like that. So yeah, they're going through it. They're really going through it. I feel like they ballsed up here. They've like ballsed up badly. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, I don't, because of the energy I'm picking up from you, I don't think you've ever, maybe they just thought you loved them so much, and other people that have loved them so much like that, they've just got away with things. They just have to say a little sorry here, a little, you know, little fake apology, or you just, I don't know. But they're beside, they're tearing their hair out, and that's what they were hoping you were doing. And I think when they found out, or got a reading, or maybe they've seen you, or and they can see that you're actually doing better and you have no desire to come back, they're beside themselves. And I think also what's happening here is now, whatever lifestyle it is that they've chose, and it could be both, like sort of, you know, we've got reckless love out here, Jezebels. I really think now that doesn't even interest them the way it did. I don't know if they were like a little bit like they got a kick out of doing this because they knew that you loved them and it could hurt you, but now you're in an energy where you don't even care. You're like, do what you like, just make sure it's away from me. I'm moving on to just a calmer world. And you don't, if it is about materialism and they've got some materialism, status, confidence, lots of people trying to get with them, you don't care, is the feeling I'm getting. You just don't care. You know, this and yeah, they truly played in your energy. They played in your energy. And the strange thing about it all is that they were always very serious about you. They were always very serious about you. I'm hearing since the day they met you. Maybe they just didn't want to give up this kind of lifestyle, and they were just hoping that you would love them so much you would just let them feed possibly some kind of addiction they've got here. But when you found out, it doesn't have to be an addiction, but, you know, put it where it fits. But this sort of deceitful lifestyle, it doesn't have to be that even, but just something you're just not interested in, basically. And it has more than likely to do with being a player. And maybe that goes in all sorts of ways, like not only in sort of a love dynamic, but just playing around, playing with your emotions, not reliable. It's like, well, who wants that? I mean, and maybe the people that the options that they have, that, you know, they're more than up for it. They're probably up, yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking materialism, like they don't actually love them anyway. It's like, anyway, I'm going to tap out that energy. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, so this person knows nothing, no game they play, no manipulation, even getting down on one knee. You are not interested, because this is just baggage. I don't, even if they bought you a house, I think you would still be totally uninterested, because it's just empty. It's just empty. There's yes, they might love you, but what is that if you can't feel it? You know, like, it's just, and they have to entertain all this other stuff. Yeah, so that's a shame for them. Right, so, okay, so we've got another energy going on in here. It could be friends, family. This feels obviously more like a love dynamic, but again, put it where it fits. It doesn't always have to be. This feels more like friends, co-workers, family. Put it where it fits, people, places and things. You have to trust your intuition about something here, and perhaps on the surface, these people looked like they cared, possibly loved you. The mask was good. It looked good. But you probably know this already. But, you know, this is very often, it's just like an intuition nudge, you know, just like a tick from your spirit guides saying, you're right. They despised you, okay? And resentment was building as time was going on. And they were actually hiding contempt for you. It's quite strong. So I'm sure you picked up on this, is my feeling. And you trusted your intuition and possibly moved away from this. These people were just not as evolved as you, okay? They knew it. They knew you were probably smarter than them. It doesn't have to be academic. It could just be wiser, wittier, quicker, you know, whatever you want to put it. But they felt that you had something more than they did. But you're not in comparison mode, so you don't really think about things like that. But these people did, because they're in that lower energy of being comparative all the time. Yeah, so there's a lot of hate here. Hate, contempt, resentment. I'm also hearing these people possibly quite withholding with you and stuff like that. So it's possible resentment built in you a little bit, sort of like, why, you know, what's going on? And you had to like tap into your intuition. I don't think you felt any badness for these people. I think it was more like, I'm giving this energy and then I'm getting nothing back, you know, like, or something of that. And again, I think these people, if you've stepped away or going to step away, they're hoping that you're having a dreadful time, missing them, hurting, all these things. And again, you're not. And sorry, yeah, and these people were gossiping, but that kind of goes into the same vibration as that stuff. Usually when people were working on a low vibration, and that's hate and just, you know, they're not working out those emotions of despising and resenting and stuff like that. You know, they do end up gossiping. But you're not. You're living in the moment. You found more self-love. Perhaps for ages you were looking for love in these energies, and you sort of had some epiphany, some wake-up call, or it was gradual, and you sort of was like, I'm really not going to find it here, am I? Like, what am I doing? And you found your self-worth. And this could be like romancing yourself, but you could be I think you probably are going to be stepping into some romance. But I think you're just loving on yourself. You're illuminated to the fact what you don't want in a way that I think you previously knew, but the voice was small, and this wound in you of wanting the other to fill you up was loud. And perhaps these people could feel it, or they knew about it, but that voice is tiny now, if there at all. Your high priestess voice is the loud voice now. Your connection to spirit is the loudest voice now, and you know that everything is okay. And I think your intuition, and you know, you could possibly be psychic or whatever it is that you want to, you know, whatever your gifts are, they're really kicking in. Yeah, so maybe you're actually sort of in hermit mode right now. You're just healing, and just processing all what's gone on here, because it feels quite big. It feels like quite a big move. This obviously belongs to them. I picked it up by accident, but this person's interested in unconventional lifestyles. I'm thinking poly, having as many one-night stands as they can. And if it's not that, you know, just gallivanting and being somebody you can't trust. Yeah, and you're not interested in any karmic relationships. And that goes for this and that. Obviously, this is a different kind of energy to that. But again, these people didn't really have your back, okay? I mean, there was resentment, they despised you, contempt, hate, you know, like, what can you do with that? So you've basically just let go of all karmic relationships, and maybe some of these karmic relationships on the surface, they looked all right. Some of them might have looked really good, you know, they had some really good smiles, some really good words, you know, pour out of their mouths and things. And maybe at the heart of it, there was love in both of these situations, between you and them. but the vibration difference is there's too much of a contrast, and it was actually hurting you. It was kind of like self-erasure by staying there, fulfilling your end of, well, it wasn't, it was like you were expected to be obliged to hold, sort of prop the situation up, and you were sort of like, I don't want to prop this up, you know, like, it's hurting my hands, and I don't even want this, and I know that you don't really like me, and you're kind of just pretending. And I think there's a distinction. They probably loved you and you loved them, but there wasn't enough there. Like, I'm not saying, you know, don't take that personally. I'm like, oh no, they don't like me. You don't need everyone to like you. You know, like, do you like everyone? No. You don't need, I mean, if you want to be offended, do, but not everyone's cup of tea. You know, like that's just the way it is, and you will find your people. You don't need to be around people pretending to like you. And even if there's somewhere inside they did like you, it wasn't enough to sustain you. You don't need energies around that don't want the best for you. Like, it's as simple as that. Messages for the collective, please, Spirit, in God's will. This person wants to marry you. This person wants to marry you. That's 3 marriage cards, and there's a lot of cards here, so yeah, they're hopeless. You've woken this person up. You taking, I don't know what these people were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they thought, they simply weren't thinking. I think they were just possibly just so mesmerized by your energy, by your healing energy. They just thought, and they maybe put themselves in that energy, like they thought you needed them, and now you're away, they're like, oh, I needed them. It's like they were like hypnotized. Maybe spirit did something here. Yeah, this person's possible. I think they're all hoping that you're going to return, but you're actually heading towards new possibilities. But they're all these energies are hoping you're going to return. Messages for the collective, please, Spirit. Soulmates. So it could be the twin flame card came out and soulmates. So put that where that fits. But again, it's a unity card. Tell me more, please, Spirit, for the highest good of all. Yeah, they're clinging. I think this person knows that you're not even interested in building. I think it's both. I think it's both of these energies, and I think there's quite a few energies going on here. This could be 1 or 2, but it feels mostly like 1, and this feels like it could be 3. I'll put it where it fits, because that can't be for all of you. Yeah, I think these people are aware that you don't even want like small things, like you don't even want to meet for coffee. You really are done. Yeah, they don't want this separation. But you were guided to do this. I think you simply could not stay any longer. I don't think you've left like, yeah, I'll teach them something. You were literally, your hands were being burned, holding on to this fiery dynamic of people not treating you the way you deserved, and you just doing it in the name of love, even though you knew these people didn't really love you the way you either needed or you loved, or something of that. Okay, so it's come out before, but this person's like into the fast life, influences, hooking up, you know, it's already come out. I don't think you care, to be honest. And you're better off. You've got a new perspective on this. Maybe there was a time you entertained this. Maybe there was a time where they dragged your energy down so much. If these are friends, they dragged your energy down so much too, because they don't really love you the way you need to be, at the very least. You know, supportive and so forth. Consistently. I'm not talking about sporadic care, that, you know, a text here and there, which, you know, is anyone can do. Perhaps it dragged you down into this energy where you entertained it, or you believed this is all you deserved, or but you've got a new perspective, and God and Spirit literally walked in and saved you from this. I mean, also pat yourself on the back, but the divine had something to do with this. Yeah, this person just has lots of secrets. They probably can't even keep those secrets away from you because you dream about them. You have downloads about them. Maybe you're a reader yourself, or something happens, and that bothers them as well. Like, so if they were to come forward, they're not going to get away with anything. It's your high priestess. Same here. You always knew these people were gossiping and had contempt and little bits like that for you, and that voice just got louder. Your heart was too big, and these people probably knew it. And it's not that your heart's not so big now, it's just your high priestess intuitive voice is so much louder than your heart, and it's loud enough to say, well, actually, if I sort of weigh this up, it's kind of not worth it, is it really? Because I can feel that you don't really give a shit, and I can feel that you're playing about, so I might as well just move on. Yeah, so this person loves you, they want to chase you now, and they're having panic attacks, and I genuinely think that's because they truly know, and they never knew before for some reason, that you are not interested. Obviously take it where it fits, and it's because they were lusting all the time. Like, this is the kind of person that you'd go to a restaurant with, or something, and you'd see them staring at the gorgeous girl that's over there, and of course you might have noticed that she's gorgeous too, but it's just like goggling, and it's like, what is this? Like, that's the kind of energy. Like, I mean, who? Yeah, you have depth. Maybe this person's starting to realise this, chasing these energies that they were doing before, and there's no depth there. Yeah, you can have a good night, if you can even provide that, and that's it. There's no, that's it. It's very 3D. Okay, I'll take the one that, yeah, because they're a narcissist, and if it's not narcissist, it's narcissistic traits. Yeah, they probably do have some abundance, but there's no true passion going on here, and I'm being led to put this here because you're heading towards your abundance. Perhaps they didn't, and this person's got, it doesn't have to be put it where it fits, it could just be confidence, notoriety, something that makes them, it puffs up their ego and makes wounded people chase them. I think your abundance, it could well be money, but I also think it's just getting into this new energy where your high priestess voice inside is the loudest, and maybe now you can hear what Spirit wants you to do, what how to, like, reset your mindset, so you're, maybe you're meditating a bit more, maybe you're being kinder to yourself in your own mind. Maybe for ages what you were doing as the high priestess, you're absorbing all of this energy and you were integrating it into your own self, and this is how you viewed yourself, and it from like a low vibrational stance, so there was no, you were stuck. Spirit, please allow the messages to fly out for the highest good of all. Yeah, you're self-indulging. That's definitely the energy I was getting from the abundance. But again, of course, it could be money, but money isn't everything, unlike this person thought. Yeah, this person isn't confused that you are running away and that they don't want you to run away. Maybe before they would lie to themselves, and I think this too, perhaps before they might have played games like lied to themselves, they'll be back, or I'm hearing they're weak, they need me, but you never needed these people. You loved them. And that's going to hurt. Yeah, I saw that, wouldn't it? So time's run out on this. They made you feel like you're not enough, and now you don't think they're enough. And it's not like a, oh, you're not enough for me, I'm just too good for you. You can hear and feel what they think. You can hear and feel what they're doing. Like, and it's not matching where you are. Please allow the messages to fly out for the highest good of all, in God's will. Twin flames upside down. It could be twin flame, doesn't have to be, just put that where that fits. If it is a twin flame, you're saying goodbye. You've learned all you could learn. Unless you want to, yeah, exactly, go back into pain. You've learned the painful lesson, and you learned something good. You found yourself. You found your high priestess voice, and that voice got loud. You found the divine. They had to step in and say, no, I'm taking you away from this. Yeah, so this person doesn't, these people don't like this distance that you've created. Yeah, they didn't want you to listen to your intuition. They didn't want you to find your own paradise. They didn't want you to find your own happiness. These people, having this in your energy was bringing you bad luck, like bringing you bad karma. Not in like a really, you know, it's just lessons, isn't it, karma? So, but it was you were taking unnecessary lessons. You didn't have to learn. And I also think because you are this high priestess, possibly got a mission and so forth, by you holding hands with this, and energetically you were actually taking on some of their karma, because of the nature of your heart. So it wasn't right for you to carry on holding on. Yeah, so as usual, there's some kind, they're going to come forward with a love call. I wouldn't be surprised if these people are as well. Yeah, you've ended this. You're not heartbroken, but this person's they did not know that you were over here not being heartbroken. These people didn't know you're over here not being heartbroken. I'm hearing some of them do. Some of them know you're not heartbroken. And so you are classed as the runner now. These people know you're not even prideful. You're very gracious. You know, you're very humble. You're a pleasure to have in their lives, and they just trod all over you. They thought that doormat, I'm not calling you a doormat, but that's kind of energy they were putting you in. They thought it was going to be there forever. And God said, no. It's time to heal your hearts. I think you have healed your heart, but obviously you're creating a new foundation for yourself where you'll listen to your high priestess voice. You'll listen to your intuition before you listen to the masks. You knew all of this. You knew about that energy, but you wanted to believe something else. You knew about all this energy, but you wanted to believe something else. And you were for a while because it was possibly too painful, but maybe Spirit sort of opened your eyes and said, you don't need to be frightened, you just need to leave. It doesn't matter if these people don't give you what you deserve. You know what I mean? Like, it's to do with them. It's nothing to do with you. That's their limitation, not yours. Not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of you too. It's maybe for a while you were imagining this is a reflection of your worth. No, it's a reflection of their worth. That's where they are. Gossiping, resenting, hating, doing everything they can just not to face themselves. Please allow the messages to fly out for the highest good of all. Yeah, these people are getting calmer now, but they're getting you were holding up there, like you were taking on their karma. And karma's just lessons. It doesn't have to be some big frightening thing. But you're not the transmuter. You're not the alchemist in their energy field anymore. Perhaps they didn't recognize that's what you were doing. Perhaps you didn't recognize that's what you were doing, but God and Spirit team did, and they were like, right, now you've actually been brave enough to see and listen to that voice you've always known. Now the lessons can go back. Yeah, this isn't a case of you rejecting them. You just couldn't stay any longer. it'd be like burning your hands. Please allow the messages to fly out for the highest good of all. Could you allow the messages to fly out for the highest good of all? Yeah, you're not, this isn't foggy for you. Maybe there's moments, and if you love them, of course, you're going to be, there's going to be moments where you're like, I wish they could have been who I needed them to be. Like, I wish they could have been authentic. I wish they could have been consistent. I wish they could have been enlightened. I wish that, all of those things. But overall, I don't think you feel confused about it. I think as time goes by, the more and more you're sure you've made the right choice. Yeah, because you're ascending. And there's an end to this. And this isn't the healthy choice. You're making the healthy choice. Before you were giving them what they needed above yourself. And before you recognised that that isn't healthy for me. These people were hoping that you would just stay trapped in this forever. It made them feel good. It made them feel good. Of course it did, to have the alchemist beneath their feet. And I'm not saying that you were doing that, but that's where they wanted you. Energetically, that's where they wanted you. And that's where they were putting you. They were making you probably feel like crap until you started to realise, actually, I don't want this. Exactly. I've found paradise in myself. I can find paradise elsewhere, and that it's not here. This is like a garage or something. This is the kind of energy, like, yeah, you might find some interesting boxes with bits and pieces in it. Like you're going to like fields and sunlight and oh, that's too many, Spirit. This could involve families there. Yeah, this was just like an illusion. Maybe this person made out this wasn't, I don't know, put it where it fits, but maybe I wouldn't be surprised this person's into fantasies, but it was a fantasy. They're pretending they love you, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, like, oh no, they don't love me. There's a limit to their love. They can't, like, your vibration, their vibration, your life, their insecurities, your secureness in yourself, it created this dynamic. And the dynamic was is they couldn't give, they were limited in what they could give you. And same here, this person's got addictions and stuff and in massive pain. They have to do all these things to fill up their ego. They have to live in fantasy land. Do you know what I mean? And they just didn't want you to say goodbye, but you had to. Family showing out. So there definitely could be a family aspect in here. Yeah, these people thought you were bluffing. But I definitely feel like some energy's here for some reason. But put it where it fits. And this is like more friends, co-workers, people, places, things, family, whatever it might be. There's at least one here that knows you're not bluffing. Messages for the collective. Yeah. These people had addictions. I mean, I'm feeling that's more this energy here. But some of these might have addictions. Tell me more, please, Spirit. Maybe you had addictions and you had to cut them out. Maybe you had an addiction to this. Communicating and entertaining energies that made you feel like crap. Like reinforcing it. Like, yeah, I must be. Like, I mean, look, look how they're behaving. That's my reflection. That's my reflection. And you're sort of addicted to this. Again, it could actually be addictions. And addictions don't always have to be substances. They could... I'm hearing low self-worth. So maybe there was a part of you that just had that wound and you just kept on hanging on to people that were like, yeah, look at that wound. It's huge. It's huge. And eventually you're like, oh, I can actually go places where I can heal the wound rather than people pointing out how huge the wound is. Yeah, these people wanted you. These people probably wanted you in addiction and cloudy judgment, so you couldn't see them. But yeah, butterfly. Every reading, different decks. Yeah, so you've got your wings and you flew away. A lot of these people knew you were a butterfly, and I don't actually mean a butterfly. I mean just And butterfly souls, they don't always stay the butterfly, if you do have a butterfly soul and that resonates for you, they don't usually stay in places forever. You know, they do move around. But perhaps these people believe they owned this lovely butterfly. And now they know the butterfly's gone to find flowers rather than live in this dead garden. Yeah. Yeah, so you're grounded now. These people hope that you didn't listen to your intuition, but you did. You're not broken. I think they were hoping that you were broken. And they genuinely didn't ever want you to release them. Okay? They thought their masks were good enough. And they weren't. They weren't. Tell me more about that. I know I'm going over. Yeah. These people, underneath it all, they did have love for you, but they just, for some reason, with your energy, probably your high priestess energy, you've probably got a lot going on for yourself, you know, like how they see things. They just couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle that mirror. And they had a contorted way of showing you their love, and you got fed up with it. And I'm hearing also on top of that, you weren't prideful about it. So whatever it is that you've got going on, maybe you're talented, maybe you're insightful, maybe you're witty, maybe you're good looking, maybe you're anything. It's some 3D worldly thing that you don't put too much emphasis on. They hated that too. Do you see what I mean? And you could have had all of those things all together. Anyway, I'll leave that there. Archangel Michael, please be with me and the collective, and please bless us and protect us. So mote it be.